guys are live.
Hey, we're gonna open with that video.
We are. Okay,
yes.
Apparently not. So anyway, hello. How you doing today?
We'll be right back with you.
So good,
As soon as Cass shows that
Hold on.
video.
There we go. Look at that.
So this is what we have been doing this week.
Yeah, this came through on Monday here in Phoenix. That's the view from Sky Harbor Airport.
Didn't Sky Harbor have some damages from this?
Concord 4, the roof ripped off.
Yeah.
Part of the roof
Yeah.
on the walkway. How about that?
That is impressive, isn't it? Mother Nature.
Yeah, and so that's what we're going to talk about today, the weather.
Yeah, you know, it's one of those subjects, and we always do this whenever you get on the phone with somebody talking to someone, hey, how's the weather? You
Yeah.
know, it just kind of comes out in everyday speech language.
Well, we talk about it every week. We tell you how hot it is or not quite
Sure.
as hot or whatever. So, yeah, we're going to talk about weather tech, too, and, you know, just different things that are involved with the history of weather prediction and, you know, what's going on today.
Yeah, and it all began with the Farmer's Almanac was really some of the first recordings of weather back in the day.
Right, I think we
And
have a
moved on from
picture.
there.
It's FA is the picture. Hey,
Hey,
Highlander,
yeah,
so
see.
grab your popcorn and lemonade. We're live right now. I'm so glad I live in the... You know, you would think, but the dust storm it just has a high cool factor to it.
It does, but it's also very dangerous. I mean,
It can be.
we lived through it, and there was, like I said, with that particular storm, we had a lot of damage around town, right?
Yep.
A lot of trees down, just a lot going on. But I got to tell you, what was amazing to me, I didn't hear of many major reports of injury,
Oh.
you know?
Well, the peak wind gust at Sky Harbor Airport was 70 miles an hour.
Yeah, and I'm sure it was at our house. In the middle of all that, while we had this 70-mile-an-hour winds going on, I look outside, and on the top of our gazebo was coming loose and flapping in the wind. The wife and I ran out there, and we're grabbing onto it, you know, trying to secure it down, because the last thing I wanted to do was this thing to fly off and hit somebody or go over the neighbor's yard and just, you know, damage their property.
Right.
So we were able to secure it, but that was quite... actually a little bit scary because we had debris flying all around us too at the time.
Right, right. Yeah, I mean, look, I grew up here, so dust storms to me were just part of growing up. You know, the summer would come and we'd usually get one or two really good ones. And now the valley's grown up quite a bit, so the dirt land is farther south than it used to be. But yeah, I mean, if the conditions are just right, then, you know, it gets picked up and moved a long way. I mean, that thing was, I think, 35 miles wide and over a mile high.
Yeah, it's just insane. Hey, Cass wanted to join in on us here.
Yeah, so I moved here about 3 years ago, and I find it, because I'm on social media a lot, so I find it really interesting that the rest of the world was very shocked about this. My family lives down here, so I already kind of knew that they existed and that, you know, they're an annual thing pretty much. And so I was waiting for me to see it in real life because I'd only seen videos of it, and I found it very interesting and very scary, but also, like, I don't know, it was a mix of emotions.
Yeah.
Because it kind of looks ominous, but kind of like when you're inside of it, it can be super scary, but it also is just kind of like wind and dust and debris.
Yeah, it really is. Lots of wind, lots of dust, debris, and typically after that, what we see is then you see the moisture come, the rain, the heavy downpours. And like Pete was referring to here, says when he first moved here in 75 and witnessed his first dust storm, it rained along the side with the dust and sprayed the side of his house with mud. Never seen that happen before.
Yeah.
And it's true. That dust mixed with some of that moisture, and you get spraying and blowing mud.
Yeah.
It's a weird phenomenon, you know?
Hopefully there's a lot more rain after it, so it washes it all off. But yeah, I've walked out to my car just basically caked
Yeah.
in mud before. But you know, the funny thing is that it's just something that people who've lived here, you know, a long time we look forward to it.
Yeah,
it becomes news. It becomes a big deal, because every year 100,000 new residents move to Maricopa County. So it's been 11 years, or no, it was in 2011 the last time it happened. So that's 14 years ago it happened. So there's like 1.5 million new people here.
Yeah, and they never had that experience.
Right.
But the great news is with all the Gruber cabling throughout the valley, right?
Yeah.
We were able to get the information out to help save lives. Because I remember years ago, we didn't have these communication systems available.
Right.
And you would hear about, unfortunately, people losing their lives in these types of storms.
Yeah.
I mean, it was commonplace. And I got to say, great kudos to us in society for understanding how to get the word out.
Yeah.
And develop these systems in order to alert people.
Well, I know when I got home from work on Monday, I was transfixed at my TV because I had gotten, I'd seen something on Facebook saying there was a dust storm coming. So I popped on the news when I got home, and then it just stayed on after that. I was like, wow, okay, this is cool.
We call them dust storms. Some people call them haboobs.
Yeah, no.
I prefer dust storm.
Yeah.
That's just what I grew up with,
Yeah.
I also kind of prefer dust storm. I had never heard of the term haboob, so I call it its government name because it's just I don't know, kind of funny.
Well, there we go. Pete just kind of spelled it out for us there. They're called haboobs. The word haboob comes from the Arabic word hub, meaning wind or blow. So there you go.
Right, but I saw something where that word is actually a slang term in Arabic for something not good. So
hey, I can understand.
The first time that word was used in any kind of setting in the United States was a scientific journal. And I think, if I remember right, it was in 1977 when a scientific journal referred to it as that.
Okay, Pete, you got me on that one. Pete responds, where does the boob come from? So, yeah, good question.
From your mama.
Yeah. Highlander. Okay, great, Highlander. I love this. Are you guys getting involved in the automotive world as far as new fiber optics? I haven't done a lot of work with automotive and fiber optics yet.
No.
I know it's out there, and one of the things I do know we see is I believe the plastic fiber optic is one of those areas that they've been playing around with automotives.
Right. I mean, so POF is, airplane. Typically, there's plastic optical fiber in airplanes.
Yeah.
And I'm not familiar with that tech in cars, but I know that we do copper stuff for automotive companies.
Yeah,
we build specialty
bit, yeah.
cables for automotive supply houses and whatnot. For the distances in the car from front to back, copper is really super practical. Of course, it's electrical, so we all know cars can have electrical problems.
Sure.
Fiber optics, less prone to interference.
I can see that, especially in future builds where that's going to take place.
Yep.
Pete says, I know customers are coming to take advantage of our fiber production capability. Yeah, we do. Every day we're working with custom fiber cable assemblies. I mean, it's just, and there's a lot of it going on.
It's happening, man. I mean, there's a lot going on. And whether it's, MTP, MPO stuff, high density fiber, specialty cables, I mean, we really have a lot of different varying demands for things.
Yeah, and don't forget, we can also take any sort of distribution fiber and go from anywhere from a 2-strand to 198 strands?
Yeah.
I believe is where we top out.
Is that us here?
Yeah.
144?
I want to say 198. I could be wrong on that.
Well, it's not a number. So it'd be in 196 maybe?
Yeah, maybe 196.
Yeah.
Strands.
It's 12.
That's a big fiber.
Groups of 12. But and I mean, I've seen them. I've gotten a lot of requests for 244 lately. So yeah, it's pretty crazy. Let's see. So Highlander said Chrysler Trenton back in the day they were starting to install fiber optics. Somebody screwed up and I butt spliced it together with an electrical bud splice and it worked.
Hey, if it works, right? And Pete says Barrett Jackson just sent us skids of fiber optic cables preparing for October auctions. That's right. That's right around the corner.
Yeah.
Yeah, not too far away from the Barrett Jackson auction going on here.
Right. They changed it to 2 times a year, I think now.
Is it twice?
Yeah.
Okay.
I saw something to that effect, that there was something going on either in the past weekend or it's coming up, but then there's the big one that comes up around the golf tournament.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
that was tons of traffic congestion over there due to that. EV fan says Nutric.
Purple.
Purple. Doyle rules. You know?
There you go, Harry. That's for you.
EV fan says hello, so hello.
Right? So, back on topic, so on,
Yeah.
on WeatherTech, so if you want to throw up the first picture, so, people have always been fascinated with weather.
We have.
And there have always been interesting inventions that have come around as a result of their fascination to be able to predict things. The barometer, that's air pressure. So basically air pushing down or air rising, right? So when it's pushing down, I believe that's the clockwise motion of high pressure, and that pushes air down.
Okay.
That's when we get the heating.
Yep.
Right? And that also makes the barometer rise. And then when it's counterclockwise, it's sucking air up, right? And so the air pressure is lower, and that when the barometer goes down, and low pressure systems then can trigger the weather.
Yeah, the weather,
right?
like the monsoons that we see
Right.
and so forth. I got to tell you, part of my barometer is right in my knees. Ever since I moved here from the Pacific Northwest and dried out basically with the weather, I can tell you about 3 days in advance when it's going to rain here. My knees just start lighting up.
Well, it's real. I
You
mean,
know?
it's definitely real that, as we get older, our joints tend to ache a little bit when things are going on. We can tell things are going on, and that was something in old tech as well. Farmers used to watch animals and how they
Yeah.
behaved to see if they could, tell if something was going to happen.
Well, I watch Cass, and I can tell you if she's riding her bike out there, I know it's going to be a decent day. It's not too hot, right? Right, Cass?
I suppose that's fair. I was going to say that I get chronic migraines.
Do you? Okay.
Yeah, so that's part of the reason why I moved out here is because there's not as much rain. The weather tends to be fairly, and I say neutral in the sense of like you kind of already know what tomorrow is going to be.
Yeah.
Unless it's like monsoon season, then you're kind of like a 50-50 shot. But in Illinois, you don't know what you get
Right.
in any
Yeah.
day at
It's a
any
given.
point. And,
Yeah.
like even in the winter when it's just snowy, you still don't know what you're going to get because it could snow, it could sleet, it could just straight up rain, and all of that biometric pressure goes in and out and like squeezes my head.
Yeah.
It is not fun.
So
Don't recommend, actually.
And don't forget about the good old weather vane up there.
Right, yep.
I mean, now is a really good way to give you an idea of directional wise as far as, winds and speeds and velocities and so forth.
right. And I mean, you can buy home weather kits now, where you put those up and it has the little vane that, has the direction and the little guy that spins and tells you how fast. And
Well, yeah. And the other thing, too, like you pointed out, I don't have my phone with me and I can't get the app, but you have an app right there on your phone that gives you all of this information now, just ready right to your handheld's device.
right. Yeah. Let's go to the next picture because, so some, current weather tech, so this was, in the, early 1800s, whatever. Now this is, starting
modern.
with Tiros 1 is the first weather satellite ever launched. And that was in 1960.
And it was just the basics compared to what we have today, right?
Right, right. And now you can, so like with the GOES satellite, anybody has a weather app and you can pop up the map of your region or the whole United States or whatever, and it'll, give you loops of, time frame of whatever you're looking at, whether it's clouds or rain, but it'll loop for you.
Nice.
And like my favorite map to look at is the 7-day long satellite animation
Sure.
of the clouds, and it just,
'Cause you can see 'em
if you
rotating
go
all around
15
Earth.
seconds, you get 7 days worth.
That's
And
impressive.
it
yeah.
and it looks it's pretty intense. It looks really cool to see stuff. But I mean, even, you know, so in the bottom left, you know, Doppler radar, that's a big deal. Being able to tell what's happening on the ground. Got a little weather launch, and then climate prediction for hurricanes, fires, tornadoes, things like that. The technology is really advanced. Now, you know, remember the movie Tornado with all the little balls that they were trying to release?
Twisters, right?
Twister, that's right. Yep.
Yeah.
If you want to flip to the next picture.
Cass, I got a question for you really quick. Because you ride a bike. I don't go out and ride. I don't ride a motorcycle. You do. So if you're planning trips or going out riding, do you have an app for that to see what the weather's going to be like before you get on your bike and take off? I mean, do you actually plan that far in advance, or you just look outside and say, oh, yeah, it's going to be good, I'll go for a ride?
No, I actually check the weather all the time, and this is not sponsored, but I use Storm Shield, which is what my mom uses.
Okay.
And it shows me the 7-day forecast, right? But I can also pick different locations. So I have alerts for our location. I also have alerts for my friend in Colorado. I have alerts for my family in Illinois, and then I have alerts for one of my other friends in Australia, just so then I can kind of
all around
see.
The world.
Yeah, just so that I can kind of see what the weather's like, and then it'll alert me if there's any major weather pattern that's coming through or weather storm that's coming through. So then I can check on my friends or check on my family to see if they're okay. But yeah, I love this thing. It also has the option to see the radar, and so I can kind of see how the storm moves. So if it moves from East Valley to West Valley, then I probably won't ride. But if it's moving from like West Valley and lower, then I'll ride.
Huh.
Right. I mean, the storm on Monday came from the southeast moving northwest.
Correct.
The storm on Tuesday came from the southwest moving northeast.
And the thing was, Monday night we had the huge storm with that big wall of cloud of dust.
Right.
Tuesday night we got more rain and more weather and actual happenings with no dust storm.
Right.
So it was just massive thunderstorms in our area, and it was pouring down. I mean, it was nice, actually refreshing.
I think the wind speed up at Deer Valley Airport, which is across the street from us, was clocked at like 48 miles an hour for that storm.
The Highlander says, so Gruber Communications provides the best cables to withstand all these windstorms, is what I'm understanding, and considering the level of quality that Gruber provides makes sense. You know, so true. We do have cabling to provide those needs for any sort of weather scenario or situation. And in fact, between our two buildings here, we have some aerial cable that has been up for, well, since I've been here for past 10 years.
Yeah.
And it's withheld many a storm and wind, you know, and even debris hitting it. So, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, look, tech has to work when, you know, there are critical situations, and you know, weather is one of those situations that can affect communication. I know. So Monday again, when I was watching using my digital antenna, right, and the signal, as soon as that dust storm hit South Mountain, my signal was starting to go in and out, and I had to drop to cable or to streaming TV to keep going watching. But it's fascinating. And then so, you know, some other current tech, something that they have is called a global forecast system that looks at long-term weather patterns and tries to predict what's going on, and they still only get it right 50% of the time, but you know, we're
it's nice to know if, let's say, the other 50% that's wrong, that they can get an alert out to the public right away.
Well, here's the thing. That isn't as important as being able to tell or watch hurricanes develop and have people be able to plan. I lived on the East Coast for a couple of years, and I can tell you when I moved there from Phoenix, I had never watched the Weather Channel, and I lived on the Weather Channel when I was on the East Coast.
Yeah.
And it you know, that level of awareness is huge. And the same thing with, you know, tornadoes are harder to predict, but they're getting good. And, you know, if they can give them even 15 minutes, 10 minutes advance warning, it's better than nothing, right?
That's what I was about to say.
Was it? Yeah.
Yeah, you know, I used to live in Illinois, and Illinois is like where a lot of tornadoes happen, just like the Midwest in general, because there's just a lot of plains.
Yeah.
Right.
Just
And,
flat land so
yeah,
they can develop.
just flat lands, perfect weather conditions for a tornado to happen, and being able to hear the sirens and know that they can see it start to form and get us where we need to be is amazing.
Very reassuring,
Yeah.
I'm sure. And, you know, the thing is that I spent a few summers on a farm in Iowa, right? And just, I mean, invariably the sirens would go off in the middle of the night a lot of times. And people are sleeping, right? So unless you really, I mean, that saves lives because you're not going to be aware of what's going on if you're asleep. So I think that there's a lot of cool tech that's been developed just in the interest of public safety. That's really not just, you know, curiosity thing of what it's going to do and how much snow am I going to get this year and that kind of thing. But the really practical side of it, of being able to save lives, I think is huge. And you know, down in the lower left, we got a Bowie.
Yep.
And they use those to predict tsunamis, or to warn about tsunamis, I should say. You know, they get the earthquakes and they think that a tsunami is going to be there, but they can tell wave height with all the buoys, and where they're located and what direction they're going. And again, advanced warning systems that can save lives.
Yeah, they're talking about that right now. Major Tom says, yes, I've been through a few tornadoes myself in Ohio. The sirens are very scary as a child, but very much appreciated as an adult.
For sure.
Yeah, I'm 100%. Highlander says, the first Friday every month in the Midwest, the sirens go off. And I'm sure that's probably the case. You have to test the system to make sure it works.
It was the first Tuesday.
Was it
First Tuesday at 10 a.m. First Tuesday at 10 a.m. every month. And usually when you hear it, you're like, wait a second. And then you check the time and you're like, oh, it's 10 a.m. First Tuesday of every month. Sometimes it's a little cloudy and you're like, is it? But majority of the time it's like bright out and like no sign of any storm whatsoever.
Yeah.
They always freaked me out as a kid, but yeah.
But yeah, I
They're
could
very
see
nice.
as a child, I'd be a little bit freaked out too, I'm sure.
Sure.
Scary, very scary.
Yeah, well,
but that's the other thing we all talk about. With the, I guess you'd say, the information being provided, the more educated someone is, it takes that fear away. And so now we're in a position compared to where 30 years ago even, we can get that education out there faster.
Well, and communication now is real time. You know, videos are real time. You can watch, you can go on to, you know, Facebook Live, TikTok Live, and see live streams of stuff going on pretty much anywhere in the world, right? And when weather is going on, you know, I was watching live streams on my phone of the dust storm in the East Valley when it was hitting. You know, I mean, it's just, we have instant information, so it helps for the curiosity factor. It also helps for the safety factor, and keeps everybody making hopefully good decisions.
And the safety thing is great, but we also got to consider everything else that's going on in the world, like productivity, transportation. Man, the airlines depend on this information on a daily basis. You know, during this particular storm, you could tell when it came in by the airport, it was a full ground stop. And all the planes that were coming in actually got diverted to Las Vegas, which is the closest airport to us from here, right? And so, yeah, I mean, we got to stop and think. It's not only that, it's productivity throughout the business world as well.
Well, airlines and shipping are the two most weather-dependent industries, I would think. Those are the ones that, you know, you get a tanker out in the middle of the ocean, it takes a while to turn that thing. Yeah. So you need to kind of know what you're headed into, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Got some comments up there, Highlander. A Major Tom, you're familiar with Xena, Ohio, and Dayton? I love Dayton near the massive tornado hit, and it was massive, the Highlander. I don't remember that one, but I wasn't from that area. You know? Highlander says, Mark and I were within 2 months of the same age. Erica chimes in there. I can't wait till I know instantly the storm is going to hit and where. Right now, it seems to all go geofencing, but I love the technology for sure. Yeah. Highlander, Noah's doing a great job. I'm sure digital cables have a huge part to play in it. Cool. Erica, once again, shipping is ridiculously dependent upon weather.
Right. Well, we get the little alerts from FedEx and UPS all the time.
Yeah.
Oh, your package was not delivered on time due to weather delays.
Yeah.
We'll advise you when we make the delivery.
Well, you got to stop and think. She's got a point there. Look how much commerce is always on the ground, moving in the ocean, shipping.
Yep.
I mean, we rely on us every day. We here, just as our small business entity, relies on that daily. So I can imagine as a whole around the entire world, that this is a big factor.
Especially, A, during hurricane season, and B, during snow season, when, they get the blizzards and all that. That gnarls things up a little bit.
That's something we don't have to worry about here.
No.
But I do know that what we do actually kind of worry about here, because we do business with a lot of places back east and where that takes place. So we kind of do watch the weather and see what's going on, because when the ground gets hardened there with ice and you got a lot of snow, nobody's trenching, nobody's putting in infrastructure at that point in time. They're waiting for things to kind of thaw out to move on. And we also got to remember how dangerous the roads are when they're in icy conditions trying to ship this stuff.
Right, exactly. Highlander, that is why massive oil tankers are still looking at making huge submarine oil tankers and shipping containers. Yeah, I mean,
makes sense.
It would. It'd go a lot slower, but it would make sense for less volatility as far as transport goes.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, if we can go to the next picture. I don't know, did we cover everything on the last picture? I think we did.
have.
I think there was a line of computers in there, and that's just one of the largest computers in the world was built to predict weather.
Really?
Because of the processing capabilities and the amount of data that it has to analyze in order to predict what's going to happen. So climate computers are are huge beasts that they use to predict weather.
I wonder how
and then
AI's
weather balloons, and one of the other things that isn't quite out there yet, or is just emerging, are drones.
Yeah, I was going to say, what about AI and drones and whatnot? I mean, that technology's out there, and it's going to be very useful in this scenario.
Yeah, can we jump to the next picture? Thank you. So, we talked about the handheld, right? Mm-hmm. Weather in your hand, very simple. Farmers, hugely important for them as well to be able to predict what's going to happen. I know that it for Arizona, you wouldn't think that it would be as big of a deal, but our crops are like citrus. That's a winter crop, and I think the oranges start maturing, and I know we used to pick oranges and grapefruit off our trees in December-ish, right? And so they need to know if it's going to freeze, because that ruins the oranges. It makes kind of dries them out. So they have these heaters. They leave water dripping or running in the wells, things like that.
Yeah. Got me, Highlander. Got me going on that one.
We should have. Erica says we should have already been out of that dependent process. With all the tech that we have, it's about no one wanting to invest. It's too expensive right now for the most. Yeah, and then Highlander says, beware of weather balloons. Some of them are Chinese.
That was a Chinese weather balloon came across the United States.
No, it wasn't a weather balloon.
That's what it was. That's exactly what they said it was. Don't you remember?
That's what we were told. That's why we shot it down, right?
Well, it just didn't
we
give us...
We waited for it to go over to the east, to the Atlantic Ocean, to traverse the United States before we shot it down.
Yeah, but we got all the weather, data collected from it and gathered that.
Let's go, Brandon.
So,
Let's go, Brandon. And then, we've all watched, I'm sure, with fascination of the Hurricane Hunter planes when they fly into the eyes.
Have you seen those, Cass?
What?
The Hurricane Hunter planes?
Yes.
Yeah, amazing. I don't know how those guys do
cool.
it. Yeah. And the guys and ladies up there, I couldn't do it. I couldn't have the stomach for that. No.
Nope, I'm good.
Not
I
gonna do
barely
it.
even have the stomach for tornado tracing. So,
And then for pilots, even something as simple as turbulence prediction,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Because they need clear paths as much as possible for the.
Well, not that. How many? I mean, almost every month now we're hearing of people who have been injured during turbulence on a flight and had to make an emergency landing.
Yeah.
I mean, 2 last month that I'm aware of that made national news.
Yeah.
So yeah, that is definitely some good information to have when you're up there.
Right. So when you think of all the stuff that weather affects and where we are and all the tech that's involved, I mean, it's amazing. Do we have one more slide?
I mean, I have one. I snuck it in.
You snuck one in there,
I
Cass?
did. I snuck in.
What'd you put in there?
Oh, I know I have one more slide, but you can
Yeah,
do
no,
yours first.
no. I can do your one more slide, but I've got one too.
Okay.
Oh,
For all you
chemtrails.
conspiracy theorists out there,
That's just plain
well,
exhaust.
it's not. No, it's not.
That's just plain
It's
exhaust.
aluminum
That's all it is.
hydroxyls, man.
You're talking
They're
about
trying to
cloud
weather.
seeding?
They're trying. They are definitely. I mean,
know
it's,
they're doing cloud
it's
seeding,
not
but
theory. It's not. You
but
know.
it's just
It's just. Does it affect us? Does it affect our health? Does it? Because they're doing it, or they did it. I don't know if they're doing it now, but.
I know they did. I just read an
can
article that they do this.
Look, you can go look up in the sky, especially in Arizona when there are a lot of clear days and you see the trails.
Yeah, that's just
It's
the difference of
not- no,
evaporation coming off
It
of the
is
jet engine.
not that.
Yes, it is. Conspiracy theories all over the place. over
Yeah,
here.
no.
Yeah.
It's all right. Hey,
You know?
you better be careful. Your ignorance is showing.
That's
No,
okay.
that's all right. So, hey, the bottom line is that, there's something for everybody here. So, do you think that the Back to the Future is going to happen where we have a weather control center and they turn on the rain for a while and then they clear it up?
It would be nice, though. I don't think that'll ever happen.
No, it's too big. It's too massive.
That's
It's
just
kind of
why-
like saying man can cause climate change. It's just a ridiculous statement.
According to you, that's man creating
No,
climate
it's
change
man
right there.
trying to.
Yeah, okay.
They're trying to. I didn't say it was successful,
Yeah.
right? Did I?
I'm sure they're doing some
Yeah.
experiments with
Oh
them.
my gosh.
Everybody calls them chemical trails. I'm just not sold on that one quite yet. So, yeah, I know that they do cloud seeding. I get that, but not in every flight. Not every.
No, they're
plane.
special planes with special things that they're spraying out. It's not like your Southwest flight to LA is going to have chemtrails.
Well, 90% of these cloud seeding activities actually take from ground-based platforms that they shoot this up into the air. So, anyway, they do it up in
Not when you
Flagstaff
see
to
those
help try and create more snow in the wintertime.
Well, that's different.
Why is it different? They're still putting chemicals up there, according to you.
Well, they still, in Flagstaff, they just have the snowblower machines.
Yeah, they have that too.
Yeah. So, all right, show us your picture, Cass.
Okay.
Here we go.
Okay.
What's Cass got for us?
I've got the best weather forecasting.
Stone is wet, there's rain. Stone is dry, not raining. Shadow on the ground, it is sunny. White on top, it's snowing. Can't see the stone? Ah, it's foggy. Swinging stone, windy. Stone jumping up and down, obviously an earthquake, and stone gone, tornado. That's funny. Where'd you find that at?
That is
I just found it on
awesome.
Google.
Just a few more comments up there. Highlander says, Jesse, since this is our last live podcast out of all the Gruber motors, I guess we better start sending them some bagels. Yeah, we'll take that. Throw the bagels. Erica says, it's chemtrails. Join on that conspiracy bus with Mark here. Yes, they already do that. Haha. Highlander, it's absolutely perfect. 69 degrees in Michigan-Ohio border. My apartment is in Ohio, and I live close to the border. That is, my car is literally in Michigan. Wow. Okay, cool.
All right.
Yeah, if you don't love cats, then please leave the United
brag.
States.
Yeah, brag, Highlander. It's going to be 106 here today, but
Right.
we're glad that you're in good shape.
If you don't love cats, then please leave the United States and all the possessions and territories.
Amen.
Thanks.
Erica says, joke DARPA. I hear you, Mark. LOL. Don't feed America.
You're the one we should.
There, my mom just chimed in. It's true. She goes, I use the weather rock. And she does have a weather rock.
I love it.
Confirm that.
That's awesome. Yep.
And when Dad has a bloody head, we know what happened to that rock.
It wasn't a tornado.
It wasn't a tornado.
No.
It was the fury of Mom.
Well, everybody, we appreciate you being here today. A little more lighthearted episode, but still relevant, especially for us here in Phoenix, where we had just had our dust storm, and it made national and international news. You see it all over the place. So we thought we would jump on the bandwagon and ride that train a little bit. We appreciate you being here every Thursday, 3 p.m. Arizona time. Like, subscribe, and share this podcast. We appreciate and are here for you. For now, I'm Mark Beach.
I'm John Dotson, and don't forget, Odoyo rules.